The next section, it's called Leaders Talk. So basically, we had conceptualized this section, the segment, thinking that businesses are a core component, you can call them, of the society, and we cannot be talking about improving our environment without having the businesses or taking the businesses into account. So we thought of calling the large corporates, those corporates who have your net zero goals, becoming carbon neutral by 2050. We all keep hearing it. What are these organizations doing to reduce their emissions? Because what they would be doing would ultimately be trickling down to smaller businesses and in the societies. We're going to learn from them. So we were going to have addresses from Carrier India. We have the MD of Carrier India, Mr. Sundar Narayanan, with us. We were going to be joined by Ms. Tejashree Joshi of Godrej, but she couldn't join us in person. She has sent us her recorded address, which we would be playing later during the event. But for now, Sundar, please come. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can
Thank
we
you,
have
Shweta.
his presentation running, please?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And I first wanted to say thank you for the great presentation. I would request a big round of applause. I know some of us did, some of us probably didn't. So great presentation, Doctor, and thank you. Like Shweta said, I represent a relatively large organization, let's put it this way. But I'm here not to speak about my company or the organization that I belong, but from the HVAC organization perspective. Like Doctor said, I mean, there is a conception that, HVAC, air conditioners do play a big role in terms of carbon emissions, which is a fact. But at the same time, as a committed organization and a committed fraternity to which I belong, we are here to make sure that there is a real sustainable development. And air conditioners have become probably not a luxury anymore, but it's a necessity at the same time. So what do we do? It's a dilemma that all organizations in this HVAC space have to play with. And I'll share some of the trends that we are seeing in the HVAC space and something that we are working as Carrier organization. But before I do that, I actually wanted to convey my thank you to the organizing committee for having me here today. It's a great opportunity to interact with many of the stalwarts from different industries, policy makers, government officials, NGOs, right? So it's a great opportunity. It's a forum it's very unique. I go and talk, I present in many different forums, but it's always focused on one particular segment or an industry. There's probably very few, I'll say, industry body events like this where, we are coming together from different diverse group of organizations or policy makers. So thank you for putting this together. The other thing I noted was that if you see, we are talking about sustainability, and I was very happy to see the Bisleri bottle rather than a plastic bottle, right? I would have been really not so happy if I would have seen a plastic bottle. So again, to the organizing committee, thank you for keeping this in mind as well. So if I could request, the first slide, okay, I'm sorry, it's here. So what do we see? I mean, this is probably not new for any of you. India overall is at an inflection point. It's like my previous speaker also spoke about. India is going to see a big growth, a lot of development happening, right? All the macro indicators are definitely pointing towards one direction, which is just up north, in terms of exploding in terms of development. If you look at our demographics, it's at a very, the median age is only 28. We actually form a perfect pyramid in terms of the overall demography that we have from a population standpoint. We are going to have a lot of new development happening if we are going to reach the 30 trillion economy, that vision that we have as a country. It's estimated that there will be one Chicago getting built every year for the next 15 years, right? There is a lot of old buildings that we have in India. Like Sir said, that's going to get refurbished, remodernized. There's going to be more development happening there as well. It's not just about new development, but even modernizing the existing buildings as well. And from an energy standpoint, Government of India is also very focused on that. So obviously there is coming, a lot of standards are coming, regulations are coming to make sure that whatever goes inside a building is more energy efficient, right? So all the indicators are pointing that India will see massive growth in the next 20 years, which will mean a lot of consumption will happen and a lot of energy usage will happen as well. If you look at, I mean, I'm not sure how many of you know this, that buildings actually consume 40% of energy, okay? And, and obviously, the more the energy usage, the more the carbon emissions happen, right? And the industry to which I belong, air conditioning actually contributes 50% of that energy usage that goes into the building. So for high level, for all of you, I said building contributes 40% of carbon emission and air conditioning contributes 50% of that 40%. So which means 20% of the carbon emissions that happens globally happens because of the air conditioning system that we have. And that's why Sir brought that up. Right? But what are we going to do about it? And that's what I'm going to cover in the next few slides. If you look at, as developers, M3M, thank you for putting this together. They are a large organization, respected organization, and they do a lot of development. And what we are seeing as trend is that a lot of our customers are now looking at making sure the new buildings that's getting developed are more smarter and green. So if you have more green buildings and smart buildings, 30% of that carbon emission can be reduced just by having a green building. So that's the request that as organizations we will have for our customers who are coming up with new buildings, because that will help drive better efficiency in the buildings and reduce the carbon emissions. So what's driving technology change? If you look at, there are basically three things that we try to put here, which is one is changing scenarios. We want, a lot of organizations had a hybrid model. Now they want to bring back all their employees back to office, which will mean there will be more usage, energy usage getting higher, right? Organizations also have, like us, Shweta spoke about, we also have organizations like us have a net zero goal. So Carrier has a net zero goal of making sure we get there by 2050. But we also have an interim goal by 2030, and I'll talk about that. So there are obviously organizations looking at an overall sustainability goal as well. The codes and standards are being driven by the Government of India, right? I mean, if you just look at in the last 10 years, just on the split air conditioners that many of you will have at home, the energy has gone up by more than 50% in the last 10 years, right? So every second year or third year, the government actually improves the requirements on energy efficiency. So that's helping drive the overall efficiency. And the last piece is technology. That's changing. So as organizations like us, Carrier, we are making sure that whatever new products are getting developed are more energy efficient. We are making sure that we come up with products with a greener refrigerant, right? Many of you will know that, the refrigerants that goes into air conditioning today in India have a higher global warming potential, GWP. So we are making sure that, we are using refrigerants which are low on GWP, right? So that's also changing as the technology changes. And the last piece around technology is around smart buildings, connected assets. So that's also helping drive better efficiency and lower carbon emissions. So those are I'll say the drivers, what we are seeing as in the HVAC industry fraternity, what we are seeing. These are just small metrics for you. I mean, if you look at in the last 10 years, air conditioning units would have got sold around 65 to 70 million units. And many of those units have been fixed speed. India has been a cost first kind of a industry, and many of our customers predominantly till few years back used to buy fixed speed units. And just by changing the technology from a fixed speed to an inverter, we would at least save 30% of energy. That's a simple arithmetic. So, as customers, as consumers, I would urge all of us in our homes, in our offices, to make sure that we at least transition from a fixed speed units to an inverter units. That's bare minimum. I mean, if customers are worried about the ROI, it pays for itself. The inverter, if you just move on to the inverter technology, the payback is within a year, right? So that's the kind of benefits that you get, and obviously it brings, with inverter technology, lower carbon emission. So just by doing this, 18.4 million metric tons of carbon emissions can be reduced. Now, on the right-hand side, what you see is on the refrigerant side. So I spoke about the HFCs, which is the higher global warming potential. If we move on to a greener refrigerant, which is HFOs, which organizations like Carrier and many of other competitors are also doing it, by doing that, again the carbon emissions will reduce, right? So those are things that we can definitely adopt quickly to make sure that we have a better sustainable development. Carrier, I switch on now to in terms of what we are doing as an organization. And it's not just about Carrier as an organization, many of our other competitors in this space are also doing it. So I just wanted to share a perspective of what's happening in the industry now. And just for all of you to know, Carrier has been walking the talk. We have been committed towards sustainability for many, many years. It's not just the talk of the town now, but for many years. We have been the founders of the air conditioning. We know that. And at the same time, we know that we have a big role to play from a sustainability standpoint for the future. Carrier has been the founding members of green building councils in many countries across the globe, including India. So, which means that we started talking about green building, sustainable development many years back. We were the first ones to start promoting inverter technology in India when many of our other competitors in this space were only promoting fixed speed. We did that, and at that time, the payback used to be much higher because the difference between the cost of a fixed speed to an inverter used to be much higher. We still promoted that. We still wanted to make sure that our customers understood the benefits of an inverter technology. And now, obviously, everything has caught up. I mean, everyone else is now moving towards inverters. So Carrier is a global leader in intelligent climate energy solutions focused on sustainable development. We are a $22.5 billion organization headquartered in the US. And we obviously now become a pure play HVAC organization. Till last year, we used to have other segments like refrigeration and fire and security business lines. But now it's all about HVAC, and that's the role we have. Like I said, we have an interim goal of 2030, what we call as the ESG goal. And we want to make sure that all our operations, we have more than 50 factories across the globe. We want to make sure all our factories are carbon neutral. We are also committed towards saving more than 1 gigaton of carbon emissions for our customers. We have gone public and shared this to all our customers. And we are tracking this. So we have a lot of initiatives around this. So we no longer are just a pure play product organization, but a solution organization. So we are working with our customers on their overall life cycle journey. So we committed to save more than 1 gigaton of carbon emissions in 2021. So in the last 4 years, we have done more than 50% of what we set out for by 2030. So already we are on track to make sure that we exceed what we say for our customers. How are we going to do this? So the 3 main pathways that we are looking at is making sure that energy efficiency is the big play, right? Not just for us, but for the entire HVAC organization, across the globe, that we look at more energy efficient products, greener refrigerants, and more technology-focused products and assets, which means that we will be able to connect assets, make it into smart buildings. So that's the intent with which we are all working on. Renewable energy will also play a big part of it. our factory in India, which is just not too far from here in Gurgaon, is a IGBC Platinum certified factory. It's a 42-year-old factory and IGBC Platinum certified. It's one of the very few factories in India, by the way, which is that old and Platinum certified. It's very easier for any building or any factory to get a gold or a Platinum certification if you are, coming up with a green project. For a factory like ours, which is 42 years old, to be a Platinum certified, it means a lot. We have more than 50% of our manufacturing operations, the energy being utilized, coming from renewable sources. And a lot of things we have done in the factory, and I would request, if you are from here, we would definitely be happy to showcase what we have done from a sustainability standpoint in our factory operations. What we are also doing is to make sure that, we have different solutions for our customers. Like I said, we are moving away from being a product organization to a solutions organization. We are looking at making sure we have solutions for our customers around modernization, which means, retrofitting old buildings, old assets into a newer building. We are making sure we have upgrade solutions possible. So for customers who have installations which are 5-10 years old and they are now looking for upgrades, we have that capability as well as an organization. We have building management controls solutions available. And these solutions helps us make buildings more smarter. Make sure that, the carbon emissions gets reduced in a smarter building. We have digital solutions. And the last one is obviously, some of our customers would obviously like to have more solutions which is not capital intensive, where we go on a service model as cooling as a service. So we actually lease it out to our customers and make sure it works for them. And the last slide, this probably is my last slide, is around, we also have from a solution standpoint a full range of solutions available on a platform what we call as a Abound, which means infinite. And the opportunity there is for our customers is to monitor the performance of their building, the different assets that goes into their building live 24/7. So whether it's around indoor air quality, whether it is around occupant assistant, net zero management, if our customers want to make sure that they want to track their net zero movement, we are able to provide solutions around that. The assets, the HVAC, air conditioning assets that they have, we can track that as well. And then the last one is more important, which is around predictive insights. So we are able to, by connecting assets in a building, we are able to see what problems could happen, and we can do prognostics, making sure that the assets do not actually, I'll say the life of the asset can go up and they do not actually break down. So those are the benefits of having a solution like an Abound with us. So that's all I wanted to share with you. In terms of what we are doing as an organization, as an industry, and what we are seeing in the overall HVAC space. So thank you for having me here, and all the best for the rest of the day. I do know that you had more than 70 speakers in the last 2 days. It's great to see everyone here, and all the best. Thank you.